that's when we saw, you know, every time there is increase in education, urbanization, civilization, you find that the value system is also affected. So you find that people are going to do it their way, you know. But every time we see a single father, because long time ago, whenever a woman would leave the home, there would be a replacement.
Another woman coming in.
And it would even be to that extent that this woman, even if you have come in and you have breastfed your children, the fact that you pick up that child and start breastfeeding them. So it didn't need, you know,
blood
relation.
Yeah.
It didn't need. But today, because of a lot of modernization and increase in education and awareness, so there is a lot of laissez-faire.
Yeah.
And so we have seen fathers take on mother roles, and they've actually done a good job. Only that what I know psychologically, whether a child is brought up by a single mother, whether they are brought up by a single father, they always need a
female figure or a male
or
figure,
a male figure to stand in that gap. Otherwise, there is going to be tomboys for the girls that have grown up with their father, and boys who are mommy boys.
No, sanga umwala agasula mu bedsheet for 2 weeks.
Nga yagamba naffe kubanga taata ye ng'akeera adduka ku mulimu tamugamba every 2 days you need to wash your bed sheets. So these trends have happened and they've gone on, but I want to commend the men that have, you know, held
actually, when it comes to that, I would appreciate my father who has done that, and but also we've seen other guys running from those responsibilities. I think forgetting the fact that there are men who have made it. They have done both roles as mothers and fathers, and it's simply because they fear responsibilities. They fear responsibilities. But just to encourage, it is possible. It is possible. Recently, I came across a video of a gentleman. He lost his wife, so he had to take up these roles as the mother and the father. And he said that I'm so determined to raise these children, even though most of them are girls. So I think even though they are mostly girls, it's up to you to choose that person whom you want as a role model, a lead in their lives. And they'll actually come up the girls that you want them to be, or the girls that you want to raise. It is possible. But we celebrate those fathers.
Yeah, and if you are a father and you are experiencing this, it's very important to first of all find out that role model, and that role model better be someone that you want your children to take after. Because, and also maybe to the public, that it's also very important for us to understand that when you see a father going to experiencing this kind of setup, who is in this kind of setup, be ready to stand with them, and genuinely stand with them, so that you once in a while have these children come over to your
place,
space, your home, to interact with your children, so that you also help them get the feminine touch. Otherwise, leaving the men or to, you know, struggle with this whole thing. Yes, they are doing a great job, but there is a woman that is supposed to stand in that gap.
But it's still possible. It is still possible. I've seen men who have been raised by women and they have leadership values in them. So me, I believe you as a woman, if you've had that other part where you've had a father or a male figure in your life, you can still talk to your boy and tell them this is how a man should behave. Yes, you love superheroes. Superheroes do not do this. Superheroes are supposed to do this. That's what I tell my son. And we've seen them. I mean, you go out there and you meet these men and they'll tell you, he was a single mother, and you will wonder.
So I also want to celebrate people that maybe like there's some people who are orphans completely, and these guardians have continued to play a key role in raising them up.
Yeah.
You know, it could be maybe that uncle of yours or auntie. It could be that pastor in the church after you lost your parents, and that played a key role to walk with you away all through this journey. So motherhood should be treated with high esteem.
Yes.
Yesterday I got a chance to see people's mothers, and then I asked myself a question: do the mothers, are even these mothers on WhatsApp, are they seeing themselves? You know, but motherhood is a sacrifice of 247, unpaid duty, but nurturing the next generation. You know, so we want to celebrate the mothers. And G, wakonye ku kintu nekireflectingako ne realizing nti abantu kye bafuuka in adulthood plays a key role to go back to where their mother is. Were they raised by their mothers? You find individuals who say, "Nay, don't care." Where did that come from? Is it maybe adulthood life that gave them that turn of life over from their child? One time we were sharing here on the show on how this lady said that for her, if the husband doesn't beat her, I mean, it shows that doesn't love her. So, wotunolira mu byonna bambi ba mothers, never father figures who are mothers. We want to really celebrate you on this special day.
Enjoying it. I think that person who says that they don't care, it goes back to character. I've noticed this few years that I've had an opportunity to mother. Remember, these children imitate us.
And they do what they say, not what we tell them.
I have noticed the times when I'm driving and I fall into these potholes, I'll tell them, guys, I'm sorry. Guys, I'm sorry. Maybe because I'm over speeding, or maybe because I didn't even see the
When you
pothole.
hit a hump.
Now, the next time when we are in the car, when I don't say it, I hear my little girl saying, guys, sorry. No, guys, sorry. Mommy, sorry. And I'm like, this is character. Now she has picked up what I say. She knows at such a time, mommy says sorry. Or now me, I should say sorry. Now, because someone told us that if they have been brought up saying sorry, they will go with it.
Sure.
They have not been saying it. People feel like, I don't need to say it. So if you're a mother, whatever you do is going to reflect on how it's going to come out.
Actually, that is very true. Yesterday, I've remembered I was in a certain group of women, actually family kind of couples, and they came. Something was raised. We were given tasks to do. I mean, some things to note, the good and the challenges. Now, someone wrote a challenge that whenever the mother is trying to correct, no, in fact, they didn't even specify it, that the spouses, whenever there is one spouse that is trying to correct the children, there is someone that jumps in, another spouse jumps in and stops the rebuke. You understand? Kati abaana baswankula kakati oli n'agamba nti no abaleke baana bakyali baana bajja kuyiga, but these are foundation.
Yes.
These are foundational matters. Omwana n'atandika okubuukira omugenyi amuli mu nviiri, anti essimu muleke bajja kaaba Jayden muleke. No, we are not raising Jaydens. And Jayden is, you know, for the sake of that term. So if your child is Jayden, it's not that we are not we are referring to them, but we are saying that we have to both as parents, especially if we have an opportunity and God has given us an opportunity to be in these children's lives. Let it also not come off like there is only one parent. For example, the mother is the one that rebukes the children, and the father always waters it down.
And so the mother is the bad cop.
Over the father is the bad cop and the mother is the good cop. If we are disciplining children, let it be both of us. Because at the end of the day, these issues come back and bite the nation.
And do you know, Jane, that thing builds to disrespect.
Exactly.
Because if a child is only used, mami taina chayogera, whenever she's trying to rebuke me, daddy will help me. So she'll be like, n'omugamba takuwuliriza era ojja kwesanga those homes where the mother has no say, you realize they only respect the daddy, they don't respect the mommy. You take this child to public and the child behaves the way they want because they are with mommy. Time netuka mama alaba tasobola bana.
Exactly.
But why? And I've noticed we don't say no anymore by the to children. Omwana akusabye simu, okay. Omwana akusabye tablet, okay. Everything,
TV,
okay. You people, you should stop. Me, I told my son, I told him, I gave you my phone yesterday because we're in a long line to wait. But you should know the rules. My phone is my phone. And nothing happens to you when you don't use that phone. You'll be okay. Banange, it is okay. By the way, I've reached a point I'm like, it's okay to be the bad cop. I know what I'm raising.
There is also something that we as parents have to take note of. Whether you're a single parent or you are both available, take note of the way your children are treating the maids.
Very true.
Kubanga waliwo engeri abaana gye batandise okuddamu abo ba maids abo atakyamuyita anti amuyita linnya lye, which is okay, fine, because there are sometimes when the maids are younger, what. But number one, let you listen, take care of that language. Gwe njagala mmere gwe gwani
omwana yakikoze ekyo yagambye twatuse n'agamba and I want my food right now. Nemugamba hold it there. You do not pay anybody here.
Okulaba n'agamba nze sapatu ngisikirayo.
Yinza obutasobola gisikayo because one thing I've noticed, the way we raise them is that they're meant to be their children. I told him you do not talk to her like that. You request. Then I had the little one, Mbu, beg me, it's time. And I'm like, how old are you? 2 years old? Do you know how old she is? You do not talk to people like that. You have to respect them. She's your auntie.
You guys, you remind me over the weekend. There is one of my belts I have. I was like, what yajira kumanga?
I told James Sipina George Chakola because recently my son went home and the little one did something at the grandfather's. Namgamba, Papa has a belt. You better keep yourself in check. And I was like, that's nice. These things still work. That's good. And although we're acting like we love our children more
So
than
much,
what?
more than-
But
and one thing maybe people should understand is that omwana abeera wuwo ng'ali wuwo. Naye omwana kasita oba
Agendewo omulala.
ng'afulumye omwana abeera wa ggwanga.
wow.
Sure.
Kubanga kyova olaba ng'amateeka at some point nga bakoze gabakwata. Now if you don't discipline that child, nogamba nze omwana wange bamuleke, omwana wange temumugambako. Let me tell you something, oyo omwana ajja kubanga akyali wuwo ate ojja kubeerawo omulabe nga bamusiba.
Anti bagamba eggwanga litandika omudisciplininga.
So I don't want to get to that point where the law is the one now to take over charge, to take charge over my children. We are going to do it now so that I put you in a straight line. You'll thank me later. You may not thank me. It's okay.
Friends, let us switch gears to the healthcare and the waiting laws that are related. Abantu, especially people who have been on insurance, I want us to really dive deep. Kubanga waliwo mu Daily Monitor, it was released, I think, on Saturday. Nga balaga nti insured patients zinenaku actually. They wait more than the cash patients. That more hospitals and more healthcares are opting to work on more cash patients than insured patients. And there was an experience here where a gentleman was sharing how he waited for close to 5 hours. So when you look at the Daily Monitor, that is over the weekend, Bagambie, in the crowded waiting rooms of private hospitals, insured patients say they're experiencing longer waiting times than cash-paying patients. Moses Balikoa says he had to endure a difficult 5-hour ordeal at Mengo Hospital, which he says contrasts with the swift service cash paying patients who were being treated on immediately. Have you guys experienced that long waiting? But I would want to go first because I too have been at Mingo, and you guys, the private wing is something else. Okay, there's speaking bad about something, but when you go to that hospital, it is not bad in a sense, but I think the structure needs to be worked on. I feel like they got an external company that works on the services inside. Wogenda mu lab, oinotekamu ekigalo olwa insurance. Wotuuka ku pharmacy, oinotekamu ekigalo. Kati waliwo n'ebintu ebigenda okusasula cash. Bagamba this thing is not insured, yet at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you're receiving the service. I remember sitting for 3 solid hours. Nga was okay. I left the doctor like 2 hours. But I don't think we can continue moving like that.
Now, maybe what we should, what our people should know is that insurance being introduced in Uganda was as late as 1990. Now, the fact that there is a way insurance, and when you go to a hospital and you are insured or you're a patient on insurance, there is a way you're perceived. Earlier, it was prestigious, but it is prestigious to that person that doesn't have it. Nagamba at least body ko insurance. Naye to the service provider, they value cash, hard cash, more than the one they jebagenda okubanja. So that we have seen this trend coming to bite us, who are in, and it is true. It is not only that hospital where people have experienced, and I'm very sure if this went on, for example, X, I'm sure people would come out with comments with their experiences from different kinds of. So every time you go to a hospital, a health facility in Uganda, and you say, I am on this insurance, but jagamba, okay, you fill in the form. Na yesu aze wano ngate bamumanyi wa cash bagamba mchala kauma oze kale so genda wali immediately agenda mu trial ne bamukolako naye nga gochali kuki ofilinga form ne bagamba tulakaawo ono genda okulaba akuyisako nagenda nayingira ka room
ate nga
wamusose noga. Why? Because there is even a time I got to a certain hospital and I had a statement, a very pathetic statement of katendekewo owa sente agenda okunsa. So even the doctors getting into the doctor's room, you're on insurance, okay. There is a way they treat you of it's not urgent, because the more cash patients they have, the more they kuba buli omu ali ku commission wali. Kati gwe bw'oleeta aba cash patients ogenda okulabanga babayisaawo speed kubanga doctor naye aba ayina target ye ya cash mwaba insurance we munagira nga tubakwasaganya mpola mpola. Kati ffe tubeeranga abaliwo okukwasaganyizibwa vis-a-vis.
But you see, when it comes to that, when it comes to the financial coverage, first of all, every insurance patient, by a certain percentage, generally entitled to from the company, from your business company, or from your insurance provider. Unlike the cash patient, and by the cash patient pays more money. Kubanga, when it comes to giving birth, let's say you're going to do a C-section, in some hospitals it could cost you 3.5. Yeah. Now, insurance, that's cash. Insurance client, bayinza okumugamba ffe tukuweerako only 1M. Okiraba 1M kati newesanga nga abeera tali financially stable ayinza obutagenda for the VIP room n'agenda wansi namanya weba njongerako 1 I can top up I can top up 1 kati newesanga bambi you will wait longer or bayinza n'obutakuwa nnyo much attention like a cash patient, because a cash patient aja kuja they will name what they want immediately. Me, I want a VIP. Can I have it? I mean, they even tell you, to need England, to need UK, to need India. Which one do you prefer? Naga, me, I would prefer UK because UK is more expensive. Insurance, you may not have a choice. And however much you can actually be given more medication than you need and not need. Naine wesanga nga goba mbitoina nyose kubanga wa cash they name their needs. Centers banozebagala, and I mean we all run on daily cash. Is this kuja after a given period of time?
Raises nagamba back then being on insurance was prestigious. I mean, you just walk in insurance,
Yes.
I mean, you go. But nowadays it's like I've worked in a health facility, and this is what I found out, that the insurance companies take a long time to make the payments, the cash out for that particular hospital. Kajuka, this hospital has to pay staff, it has to meet the utilities, it has to meet the pay tax if it's involved, and then at the end of that day, bagala ezama ngweziyingirawo. That is why if you're to pick from pocket and pay, you realize that you're financially depleting. But what perturbs me is you want to get health care and they tell you these drugs are insurance, these drugs are not insurance. But I thought...
Are you sure?
Yes. So me, I feel like insurance is good. Katuwaba mpade amadagala mangi bwegati. Watch insurance companies neno tezituwera ko ne sente sogulako ka juice.
It's not possible.
I remember some insurer. I wanted to take up insurance when I was pregnant. Nangamba no. You're supposed to start before.
Earlier.
Yeah, earlier. Nah, but what's the big deal? First of all, they even give you medication that you do not need. An insurer, because he was my insider. Ningamba, okay. So meaning, bajakuwa, maybe like different types of painkillers that you may not even need. Unlike the cash, because katuwa cash ajakugamanze, this is what I want, this is what I can afford. Unlike this person. Neata when it comes to services, nzendabanga, they have access to different services, the insurance people. Because when it comes to, as I told you, operations, you are entitled to go for any. Like you can. You can, as long as they can help you. Because by the insurance, nine advantages zayo.
Yes.
Nine advantages zayo kubanga. Bino byetugambe ebigwata ebiraze. You could be sent in for an operation that you are not even ready for, cash-wise. Newesanga, you can easily go in for it, which I think is a big advantage or a benefit to the client. Yeah,
that's very important. Ate woyengera okwetegereza, me, I am a bit dissatisfied. Last week I had a dental date. So tutuukayo ngaba mukwano gwe gwamwandikideko like 3 amoxicillin, some antibiotics and some painkiller. So on my insurance, I can receive the medication. On her insurance, they tell her, we are sorry, your insurance company does not cover this. And I was like, okay, so this is now like a business for insurance companies. Techichali chirinti funa healthcare chirinti kastao funa kadi checho in their books they'll be like, yeah, this year we subscribed and got more people into it.
And Kati, now what I've noticed in that regard, ogendo kwesanga nga the employer aina package gye yalondako. Kakati package eyo sometimes ebeera limited. Kati wabeerawo ba employer nga bo bafunaawo package as long as bagamba abakozi muli insured. Kati gwe bw'otuuka mu ddwaliro ne bakugamba nti ate lino eddagala teririiko. For example, do you know that there is some insurance where there is that kind of immunization. There is waliwo free from government. Naye ate kati waliwo ate another immunization where you need to have cash to pay.
That's the one which is less painful. Okay, no, when you don't want it to be painful.
It may not even be less painful, but for example, pneumococcal, used to be paid for. I don't have taken long
What's
without.
pneumococcal?
It was pneumonia and something. Those are immunizations.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then there was a rotavirus, and all these are needed by the child. But when you go to hospital, they say yes, diphtheria, TT, polio, whatever. All these are free, but these ones are to be paid for. Now you find that pneumococcal was costing 150, and the insurance doesn't cover that.
Sounds like an abusive word.
I know. And you go to rotavirus, it is also 200K.
Yeah.
And these are not in our hospitals, where the immunization is free. You only access them in a private hospital.
Yes.
Jean, I thought
And-
that when it comes to insurance, they give you a certain percentage
Yeah.
as an employee. That it depends on how much money you have, I think, in your account, that it doesn't stop me from accessing any kind of service.
Now, that is where the thing is, because, I mean, insurance is so tricky. They will tell you can access, but when you go to the hospital, that's where reality hits in.
True.
That, as a matter of fact, much as you're a C-section mother, you this insurance covers only you. Now, if the child goes to nursery, they are not covered. But I mean, it's
It
me.
doesn't change.
It does,
It's me
true.
who brought up this one, who brought out this one, and you cannot say that now a newborn is here, fill the form, let this. That insurance should be able to cover this child too, because ebigwa bitalaze
Bibeera wera
kakati
ngamba.
omwana ne bamukwata ne bamutwala mu nursery. Meanwhile they are telling you, bwe mama twakusiibula naye omwana ye tukyamuyina. Kwegambanga there is a lot of confusion, but meanwhile in all that confusion, insurance is not covering it. So the fact that you have insurance but you don't have it is another problem.
And the limit, because for me what disturbs my mind is who determines the limit you put on dental, on optical, and also on the general treatment. Because you find that maybe you want maybe some body checkup, and I tell you, you know what, your card doesn't reflect here that it has been allocated. Maybe kubanga kati, how do you charge someone 300,000 for teeth cleaning? Teeth cleaning, literally.
Whitening.
By the way,
Whitening.
what I realized also is that you who is insured and who has a
Cash.
medical card, you should be able to get to a service provider that is affordable. Because, just so you know, every cover is limited. For example, they can say that your company or organization can say that for us we are insuring our staff with 5 million each.
Exactly,
Each.
yes.
Now, that 5 million is partitioned, and they say 1 million dental, 2 million giving birth, 2 million or 1.5 to general,
Yes.
and then this one, so they partition it. Now that is where the limits come in. Now when you go to a service provider that is high end, that is going to say that cleaning teeth is 800K. Awo oba osigazzaayo mitwalo ga 20 ku ki? Ku dental. Kakati
ezisinga nga
bali baba bazitutte. Ate insurance eba ekulaga. Kakati that means you're going to have to wait for the end of the year, financial year, so that your insurance is topped up.
Jean, do you want to mean that now if someone is to fall sick, they should choose
You
the
have
kind
to
of
be wise.
diseases that
Not
they,
even
because it
not-
doesn't cover everything.
Not
It has nothing to do with
choosing the diseases, but you choose the medical facility you go to.
The hospital.
The hospital, because we know these hospitals that you're going to go to a high end.
Actually, that's where the people get the misconception.
Yeah.
They think because I'm on insurance and I can access every hospital. I remember a person who wanted to use TMR
Yeah.
to give birth.
As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
if you go there ojja kubeera mu private room.
Yes.
Naye ng'ate nga singa ogenze mu government facility where your insurance can be accessed, you will be in a VIP room.
Because later the insurer, because every company or every hospital has someone that deals with medical insurance.
Yes.
So when you go in, they will tell you your particular company only covers this when it comes to that, or maybe when it comes to giving birth, they can only give you 1 million or 600. Now, if you chose a VIP room, that is going to cost you like 4 million. That's
So
when
you
you
have to top
complain
up.
because Kati, Boba was 600 or 1 million, and you have to top up the 3
3 million.
M. Then you have to choose wisely whether you go to the general ward or you actually you change the hospital.
If that is if you want to have people to know that you gave birth from Rose.
Some feedback from the viewers. Thank you for staying tuned on the show. Well, we kicked off with earmarking and highlighting key roles that mothers have played in this country. And today we dive deep into the healthcare and the waiting blues. Maybe you have had an experience of waiting in for close to 8 hours. I want to hear, what was that experience like? What has been your healthcare, experience of the doctors, of the waiting hours? Are they worth it? Are you on insurance? Are you on cash? Did you experience a very weird experience? Then use the number 0746405060 to send us that comment, that opinion. We'll be reading it as promptly as it comes in. Or you can also tag us on our social media handles at Promise TV UG on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or even YouTube. Let's dive back into the discussion.
Jen talked about something, and I've been thinking the confusion that happens around insurance when it comes to medical insurance. But I feel like this confusion has just started recently, because I remember in some companies they would give family insurance. Like if your father works there, all the children would be catered for. That's when you do the general checkups. The general checkups maybe for the month, and when it would come to, let's assume one of you has to get to go under an operation, they would cover for some of those things. It wasn't as complicated as now. Actually, now this feels like this other insurance of things where they tell you you insure only for fire, you insure only for accident, or this particular, that you have to be very, very particular. So I feel like the confusion came up recently, where people do not know. They think that, okay, since I'm insured, everything can be covered.
You know, from what you're sharing, Sue, I feel there is a silent war between hospitals and the insurance companies.
Yes.
Something that is really not being addressed, because before you get this insurance company, maybe it gives you the authorization to start giving this healthcare to their patients. They first come and survey the place. So you, the hospital, you're under their mercy. So if they approve, they will definitely give you authorization. Remember the time I told you guys that I wanted to get new eye specs, and then I had 600,000 as the limit. So these guys saw that I had 600,000. They told me that the eyeglasses were 480,000.
Yes, they see
You
it.
put in the chigalo, the thumb, or this index finger. So I said, okay, you explain to me. Can you buy eye frames of 180,000 without lenses? Like, now you see, I said, can't you take this down? Do you know they moved it from 480,000 to 320?
That was still expensive, because frames are usually 120.
When we talk about the waiting blues, it reminded me of some couple that I was with when we went to hospital, some big hospital, and they went with this security of, we're on insurance, so we can easily access whatever at what time, But now, when we reach that place where you fill in from the form, someone in the company, you have to call them to confirm
if
whether you're covered. Now, remember, the hospital cannot go forward. In some hospitals, they cannot do any treatment until you pay. Or until they're sure you're on insurance. First of all, if you're going to see the main doctor, not the general doctor, that particular doctor, the pediatrician, you're supposed to pay consultation.
Yeah.
Which is different. So if you want to switch from that
Now,
specialist
that
to general-
consultation could be covered by your insurance, but they're not going to attend to you until that call comes from the insurance company to tell them actually, yes, they can take up that insurance. Because as we said earlier, that you could find when your insurance does not cover certain things. So you could be maybe, because in some hospitals, consultation is 100,000, like it or not. If you
that's
cannot
it.
afford it, it is okay,
Bye.
because they have consultants. Now, if you're going to see the consultant doctor, they have a price. It could be 100,000. Now, they had to first call, so we had to wait until we get a call from the insurance company to tell them, for them to confirm, yes, we are willing to take up that charge. So imagine if you go to a hospital and it's urgent, you're not on that insurance, you have been waiting for 5 hours, as that gentleman told us, and at the end of the day, you may end up not getting the treatment that you want.
Well, I also I want to get now to the part.
Can I disrupt?
Okay.
You reminded me of a meme I watched, and I keep talking about it, where a kid was trying to express something. Do you remember when I would and I tried to No, it's not funny, but it's how we want to organize what we have in our brain to bring it
out
and it happens
in a
to me.
better way.
Yes.
It always happens
Sorry.
to me. No, it's okay. But I wanted to mention, to get now to the side of the company that is providing the service.
Yeah.
Now, that report, first of all, talking about delays in reimbursement. And this one will give us now a clear picture of why you, the insured person or patient, will keep in line and they work on this patient
The
who
cash
has,
patient.
yes, who has cash. Because of that, they have challenges that they go through as the companies that are offering this service to the insurance, because they are usually saying that there is delay in reimbursements. For example, that report says that many healthcare providers experience significant delays in receiving payments from the insurance company. And a study revealed that 64% of service providers receive payments 3 months after you have gone for this treatment. Now, even after submitting the claim forms, and leading to cash flow challenges as a preference for cash paying patients. So, they prefer cash patients because of the challenges they are finding with the insurance companies. Now, if the insurance, because this issue has to be handled as a whole. It is not the service provider's problem. Kuba kati yo wagambira nti omanyi soko olindeko oba nagamba kankuwe lino eddagala, because for them now they have medicines are grouped, of course. There is China, there is India, there is England. So wagambira nti no ono bajja kunsasula myezi 3 katwale this one. Kakati ono awa cash kamuono obono ogenda okwesanga nti, because when the cash comes in they can restock very fast. But this one that will delay, they can restock later. They can restock later. Ayana ogenda okwesanganga for the insured people, their medicines are always there. Either when they are not there, they give you a form. Nogenda mu pharmacy. Wabelawo time, because they are not in a hurry. They bajagamba lino liweddewo. But you don't have an alternative. For your kind of insurance, we don't have. Naye onogenda okulaba ng'owa cash ate alternative erabise. Why? Because it is easier for these
To run their daily
yes,
business.
to even have a cash flow whereby they know that when we are out of stock, we shall have money, other than them waiting for
Waiting for all
this
this
insurance company to first of all verify the claim forms. And we have also seen, for example, service providers, a service provider that you wanted being scrapped off your insurance list. Kati newebuuza kigenda maaso. Now the patient is the victim. Era nze mu bino byonna I'm seeing the patient is the victim, because I come to you with all, you know, confidence that you as an insurer, you will give me the best. And then I go to this service provider hoping that I will get the best, only to get the unreality now hits me. And meanwhile, you, as you have said, those phone calls are usually made. For example, there is a time I had a patient and they needed to do an ECG, echo, and RTI. These are scans and
that are
really serious. And the patient is collapsing. They need to know what's happening. But we cannot proceed, and we are calling the insurer. They are not picking. They are not even picking up their phones, and neither are they returning the call. So kati ogendo kwesanga nti much as even the service provider has issues, the insurance companies should be able to stabilize.
But June, I you know, when it comes to these guys, the insurance people, they have agents.
They have what?
Agents.
Yes.
Nti, if you want to qualify for a certain insurance package, we have people that Nagama, you also have friends who will tell you, Jane, I want to give you insurance, yeah? So I want to believe maybe at such a time as that, when you have this agent, is that you're supposed to call. So I think the problem would be if your agent is not in position to pick.
Even to answer.
Or to answer.
Even to answer to that particular one.
It's
let me get back to you. Kubanga at that moment, and you know Uganda style.
And also the other issue that I've found is that not every hospital takes insurance. But you find that in the place where you are, they do not provide the insurance from that provider. Never gamba fe wano know your provider. But also, you talked about reimbursement. There is a problem, documentation issues, where it is incomplete, inaccurate, and submitted by hospitals can lead to delays in processing this information. That category is because look at this. You're going to different hospitals, meaning every hospital that can provide that insurance, they should be in position to have your information. Now, if they did not fill in this information correctly, if it was inaccurate or incomplete in any way, which I want to assume that the agent is responsible for that, you're definitely going to find issues.
Friends, Bonita here says, thank you for the show and dressing smartly for Monday. But well, as we close this up, I would really wish to see these insurance companies and hospitals, and also ask the clients, have a meeting where it's a win-win situation. Because insurance companies will maybe raise certain issues and say, for us it is like this, and hospitals will tell you, hey, we have to also pay our employees at the end of the day. So we have to leverage this gap whereby the waiting blows and prioritizing cash patients, because maybe hospitals have to maybe at first, well, what to get is insurance companies that is gamba, get an insurance so that you're not taking money out of your pocket.
Yes.
Now we are here and they're telling you, can you get a social life policy or social life policy life something? Or they'll tell you, can you get investment? And you're like, okay, but I thought we're still on the medical lead. So hospitals and insurance companies have to make sure they work together to bridge this gap.
Well, me, what I would want to tell someone, if you're to go for insurance, actually, I think the reason why very many people fear insurance, get the right agent, that right person. When I talk about agent, I don't mean the insurance company as a whole, that one person who has introduced you to it, make sure they're well conversant with all the information, that when you get into that hospital, they're available, they can pick your calls, and they have all the information that is necessary. Because, as we said, what if it's an emergency that needs immediate attention? You're not in position to receive this kind of information that, let me first confirm. No. So get an agent who is well conversant, because, I mean, everybody's out here to hunt for something to eat, meaning someone will come to you, present to you a deal, but you've not gotten all the information. What if the company, what they cover, it's Tobirwal? You see, or you're not at risk at getting such things, so that the things that you go for, or the insurance that you apply for, you are sure you're going to benefit from it. There is nothing like, you're not going to regret it. You're not going to be like, I wish I didn't take up this kind of insurance. So as you get an agent, make sure your agent is well conversant with every information that you need to hear. When it comes to hospitals, do they have insurance in the area where you're located, or you move miles and miles away to get the hospital where your insurance is. So be very, very particular with the person that you get. Make sure they're very well conversant. Don't just go with anybody who doesn't even know anything to do with the company, or has little information about the services provided.
G, how would you want to wrap
Well, personally, I want to get to talk to the companies, both the medical and the insurer, because at the end of the day, I want to get to that position or that place where I, the patient, am not affected by whatever politics is going on with the services that you are both offering. If I come and I have trusted you that you guys, the two guys are going to give me good services, I should get the good service. Number one, medical centers or medical, providers, facilities, inflating prices because I am a insurance patient is not a good thing. And the insurance company, you giving me insurance and it cannot provide or cover me fully, I also feel cheated. So it is very important that we all have a win-win situation.
Absolutely. Well, it's been an amazing discussion, friends. And as we continue to bring the most things that affect us at the end of the day as a country and as a nation and as Ugandans. So I would really love to make sure that there is extreme change in the social development of the country in whatever way. Let's prioritize saving lives over money. And we'll call it a close right here. Thank you for being a great audience. We'll be back tomorrow, 6:45 to 9 a.m. Well, from us to you, want to say bye-bye. And of course, coming up is kindergarten.